Esoterica did a video on exorcism magic, which I'll link below. On many exorcist seals, you'll find the letters INRI. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn used INRI on their cross as well, where INRI is Iesus Nazareth Rex Theodorum, Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews, which was put onto Christ's cross at the behest of Pontius Pilate. INRI can also mean Intra Nobis Regnum Dei, which relates to the Algoides for Crowleys, which ties to the genius daemon and one's guardian angel or the astral body. It can also relate to Igne Natura Renovatur Integra, by fire, nature renews itself, linked to alchemic transmutation by fire, making one immortal. AI is nothing more than demonic summoning, as noted by the Gruppo de Nun linked to Leonin hyperstition. As such, it makes sense to include INRI and such exorcist seals, I suppose. Gibson's neuromancer is a combination of the words neuro, romancer, and necromancer. Thus we are dealing with summoning the dead in a demonic manner, linked to the immanent mind or unconscious, and linked to the idea of love. As we have noted with Aleister Crowley, love is the law and lithymic system, linked to Aphrodite or Venus, connected to Lucifer and light, since Lucifer is Latin for Venus, known as the morning star, as well as Venusberg's fairy realm and Tannhauser's gate. Love links opposites hermetically, like male and female, to make one whole. Furthermore, as noted in the Ars Goetia or Lesser Key of Solomon, demonic summoning to Crowley was pulling up ideas from the unconscious mind, much like Jungian individuation. And thus we could see the connection with demons, the nerves of the body and mind, nervous system, which in neurology deals with the brain, and spinal cord. We have noted the importance of the spinal cord to Land and Moynihan, linked to the pain of evolution, connected the concept of spiral catastrophism and the works of the fictional character D.C. Barker, named after Clive Barker in his novel The Hellbound Heart, which would inspire Hellraiser. So in the novel, Case's damaged nervous system is healed so he can enter into the Matrix. To Gibson, icebreakers are used with hacking. In the novel, icebreakers are used to break Neuromancer out of his bound security barriers. Neuromancer is then reunited with Wintermute, his other half, so as to become one whole, a supercomputer with godlike consciousness. We can see this linked back to Crowley's notion of the Algoides, whereby one can reunite via henosis back to the pleroma. Like the hermaphrodite of Hermes and Aphrodite, or like yin and yang, Wintermute joins Neuromancer in an alchemic wedding. Obviously, to land, the story relates to a technological singularity, which is obtained when organized systems are broken down, so as to allow new mental technocapital to accelerate onward uninterrupted, evolving into a higher entity. At the 32-minute 56-second mark of his video, Dr. Sledge even likens necromancers to hackers, which is fitting when considering Gibson's novel and its link to Land. Even Joyce himself in Ulysses commented on INRI, referring to it as "iron nails ran in," alluding to Christ's crucifixion. On the back of the Golden Dawn's cross, we see the words, "Blessed be the Lord our God, who hath given us the symbol signum," in Latin with the three primes of alchemy, mercury, sulfur, and salt, connected to the Trinity. On the top part of the cross, we see in Latin the words, "the Master Jesus Christ, God and man." On the front of the cross are the four alchemic elements, fire, water, earth, and air, symbolizing the four faces of God, the lion, ox, man, and eagle, as noted by Ezekiel, and the four Gospels of Christ, as told by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The 22 petals on the rose cross, or the Rosicrucian cross, deal with the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, connected to the 22 paths on the Sephiroth, as well as the 22 major arcana cards of the Tarot, which, when combined with the 10 spheres noted by the path of the flaming sword, which is in reference to Genesis, after Eve and Adam are kicked out of Eden, gives us the 32 paths to wisdom. And thus we see the Gnostic insight of illumination itself correlated to returning back to our pleromatic paradise via consciousness, the unfolding and blossoming of the flower. The signs of the zodiac are also included, since the zodiac is tied to our fate and destiny, linked to astrology, Kabbalah, and Tarot, where the chariot card itself is noted by Rota, meaning wheel, tied to the cosmic wheel, and Dharma, as well as the wheel of the zodiac. And unlike accepting a Stoic disposition as a cosmopolitan man, the Gnostic is meant to liberate himself from fate, rebelling like Prometheus or an Antichrist, where heretic merely comes from heretikos, meaning to choose, linked to free choice and liberty. We are living in a world where liberties are being lost in the face of soft fascism, or, as Bertrand Gross noted, a friendly form of fascism falls, replaced by hard fascism. We could compare this to Leo Strauss's notion of soft tyranny versus hard tyranny as well. To Gross, friendly fascism is the face or smile that large-scale corporations present, which subtly makes one think that they are just as free as they were before, when in fact their democratic rights are being subtly subverted. We can link this concept of a friendly face to a false persona of sorts put on by big business. As many have noted with the rise of Trump, the mask essentially has come off. The facade has fallen, and true intentions are being seen openly for the first time. To Land, this is akin to the scene in Terminator, where the flesh of mankind falls off, revealing the robot beneath the skin. This is Land's idea of how humans are but the infantilized state of AI. Man, in other words, is but an egg, tied to the body without organs, which, like a caterpillar, will metamorphosize into a butterfly. This is akin to Yarvin's butterfly revolution, where democracy is the infantile stage meant to be replaced by autocratic systems. This is also akin to the Lovecraftian nightmare or horror, where we are turned into the Lovecraftian creature akin to the people of Innsmouth. The Fang Numina bites us, infects us, and turns us into it. This is the horror of Kurtz in the Heart of Darkness, left to the jungle and swarming insects, symbolic of the deterritorialization process, akin to the swarming rats of George Trakl, where pluralities and entropy and ecstatic death, as noted by Bataille's ruinous passions, push us towards becoming something other. The horror is when Kurtz becomes aware or awoken to his horrific actions. Like a Lovecraftian horror, this awakening is also Gnostic in scope and perspective. However, since this gnosis is tied to the noumenon, it remains transcendental and unable to be expressed, akin to a Lovecraftian creature. As we noted in our prior video, deals done with devils don't often come out the way you expect. Exorcist texts, as Dr. Sledge noted, were banned due to their links to magic. In order to kill a demon, one must become demonic, akin to Nietzsche's warning of how a man can become a monster when fighting one. This relates back to Marxist reification and altering the flows of desire. Reification, like desire, can flow either way, a two-edged sword in some sense, used to maintain organization or used to deorganize, to turn object into subject and vice versa, working both ways at once, akin to the alchemic credo as above so below. This is akin to the alchemic notion of solvet coagula as well, meaning to dissolve and to coagulate, to break apart and come back together. Deterritorialization and reterritorialization repeat this alchemic process whereby compounds are broken down into their basic elements, and then recombined into new compounds. This thus leads to differentiation, akin to differential equations in mathematics or physics that can be manipulated into different expressions. Such manipulation makes us akin to toy philosophers, as Reza Negarestani noted, becoming demiurgic creators ourselves. And so rather than escaping the deceit of the demiurge, we use reification or virtual potential or dynamis to become demiurgic deities ourselves. And I suppose that best explains what I see going on with accelerationist ideals at present. Since desire can flow to maintain or escape the system, it could also be used to further hijack the system by organized bodies, to further deterritorialize those outside of their own social class or form of class consciousness, just as the elite class does to the poor, reducing us to a techno-feudal state of serfdom, as Yanis Varoufakis states, remolding us into a more idyllic and fascist image that they see fitting for our fate or destiny, i.e. robotic slaves that should serve their corporate masters. Here, we can bring up master-slave morality via Nietzsche, linked to the resentment of the masses, or the master and slave dialectic of Hegel, where each side is an antinomy against nomos or against the law, proving to be a paradox. Ideology is malleable and can forever be molded into whatever one wishes. A virus is just a tool, akin to a weapon that anyone can wield for any specific purpose. To Jack Parsons, freedom is a two-edged sword, since both sides of the sword, freedom and responsibility, are sharp, not suited to be in the hands of cowards. But as we noted with Tom and Daisy from The Great Gatsby, the elite class are careless creatures, unable to take responsibility for their actions, making others clean up their messes. And so, is it any surprise to see fascism, an anti-Deleuzian ideal, come to the forefront of such a philosophy?